Hello you lovely people. Welcome back to the channel. As we know, Xilonen is going to release on October 9th with the version 5.1 update. Only a few days left for her banner release, but it still feels like the version 5.0 just came out few days ago. Anyway, so in this video, we will discuss how you can build your Kazuha to her maximum potential. But first, let's take a look at her kit and let's break down her abilities. During her elemental skill, Yoel Scratch, Xilonen switches to high-speed combat belating gear and rushes forward, dealing Night Soul Geo damage based on her defense. This skill also grants her 45 Night Soul points and enters her into the Night Soul's Blessing state, where she shifts to the Blade Roller mode. Xilonen's Elemental Burst, Ocelotliq Point, activates her Phlogiston Stereo Mixer, and she uses it to deal AoE Geo damage to her enemies based on her defense. The burst also triggers effects based on her different source samples, adding versatility to her damage output. Now let's talk about her passive abilities. Xilonen's passive ability, Netatalitli's Echoes, increases her normal and plunging attacks based on her current source sample types. This passive enhances her damage output and versatility on enemies. Now let's talk about her portable Armored Sheath passive ability. When Xilonen's Night Soul points reach maximum, she triggers an effect equal to her Night Soul Burst. Additionally, when nearby party members trigger a Night Soul Burst, Xilonen's defense is increased by 20% for 15 seconds. This passive ability boosts her defensive capabilities and team synergy. Next is her passive ability Night Realm's Gift, Blessing of Forgefire. After Xilonen's Night Soul points are depleted, Xilonen will switch to consuming Phlogiston, which can affect her playstyle. Now, let's talk about Xilonen's most unique feature, her source samples. This mechanic is what makes Xilonen such a versatile support character, so pay attention. Xilonen carries around 3 samplers. Think of them as magical music mixers that create different soundscapes. These soundscapes aren't just for show. They actually decrease nearby enemies' elemental resistance when activated. Now, when you first get Xilonen, all 3 of her samplers are tuned to Geo. But here's the twist. They don't stay that way. Your team composition actually changes these samplers. For every Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, or Electro character in your party, one of Xilonen's Geo samplers will change to match that element. But wait, there's more. When Xilonen enters her Night Soul's Blessing state, that Geo sampler, it's not going anywhere. It stays active the whole time, giving you constant Geo support. Once you unlock Xilonen's passive talent, Netatalitli's Echoes, things get even more interesting. She can use this talent to regenerate her Night Soul points. And when those points max out, she activates all 3 source samples for a solid 15 seconds, unleashing elemental debuffs on your enemies. Also, Xilonen doesn't even need to be on the field to trigger these effects. One last thing to remember, you can't stack effects of the same elemental type. So try to use it with multiple element characters. Now let's talk about some of the best in-slot artifacts and weapons for her. For Xilonen's build, the priority is to maximize her defense and Geo damage Bonnek. As for her weapon choice, her best in-slot 5-star weapon is Peak Patrol Song, as it's designed to synergize with her abilities. For her free-to-play 4-star options, you can use the Flute of his Pitzel or Cinnabar Spindle, as both of these weapons provide defense percent as substat. Now let's talk about her artifacts. For Sands, defense percent or energy recharge. For Goblet, Geo damage bonus. For Circlet, defense percent or crit rate or crit damage. For substats, you need to focus on defense percent, energy recharge, crit rate, and crit damage. Now, let's discuss some of the team compositions for Xilonen. Xilonen can be used in both Geo and mixed element teams. For her Geo teams, think of her as a Geo Kazuha with healing abilities. She can buff and support while contributing high Geo damage. For mixed teams, her soundscapes reduce elemental residential of nearby enemies based on your party's elements, making her a great fit for elemental diversity. Now, let's break down her constellation. Xilonen C1, Sabbatical Phrase, reduces her resource consumption and extends her Night Soul time. Her C2, Chiuq Mix, depending on the element of her source samples, she provides powerful team-wide buffs like increased crit rate, ATK, or energy restoration. Xilonen C4, Suchitul's Trance, grants party-wide boosts to normal, charged, and plunging attack damage. Her C5, Twelta Kutlai's Crossfade, increases the level of Ocelotliq point. By 3, Xilonen C6, Imperishable Night Carnival, significantly boosts her damage and prolongs her Night Soul state without draining her resources. That's everything you need to know to build Xilonen to her maximum potential. Thank you everyone for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more useful videos like this.